Hey guys, what is going on? This is Deadly. Welcome back to the channel for some more DayZ. And in today's video, I am going to be discussing the current PvP meta in DayZ 0.62 and my thoughts and opinions on it so far, and also discussing some of the changes that have been confirmed to be coming in beta, as well as discussing one critical change which might have a massive impact on the game, and one that developers are still on the fence about. So let's get started. So if you've been a long-time viewer of DayZ Mod, DayZ Standalone, and basically just PvP and encounters, I'm sure that you guys have noticed a steady trend in change in the way players actually move in PvP combat. Back in the mod, there was a lot of emphasis about stealth and slow gameplay, being able to move and spotting your target before they spot you, and getting into a position where you can easily take them out without actually giving up your position. And I feel like that meta was set by a lot of the players who actually played the game, and not just the way the mechanics worked themselves. It was really cool to find a ghillie suit and a DMR or a weapon like an SVD camo and actually put it to work and play very slow and stalk around the area. I also feel like thanks to content creators like Sacriel, who streamed on a regular basis with this particular playstyle, and many others, it really became just the PvP standard, especially around the Northwest Airfield. It was very unlikely that you would typically have full squads of people rushing around and hip firing, giving up their location in the mod. And if you were lucky enough to play on servers without duped AS-50s and M249s and L85A2s, then you would actually typically die if you were running around like a madman, because there was a little inertia and you actually ran a lot slower than you do in standalone, and there was a subtle stamina system too, meaning that you couldn't sprint all the time at the fastest speed. You periodically needed to move into a jog. Now let's jump into DayZ Standalone. We currently run at around 21 kilometers per hour with little to no inertia, no stamina, and no weight. So as you can imagine, serpentining has become one hell of an issue. Or not really an issue, just become the meta. As soon as somebody fires at you, you shake your mouse as fast as you possibly can, and it makes it very difficult and unlikely that they'll be able to hit you. Although it is obviously still possible, this is DayZ, it's just a good way of dodging rounds. And that is sort of what everyone is kind of doing right now when it comes to being engaged, especially at distance, making it extremely difficult to land covert sniping shots on target, especially if you miss your first shot. And I don't know, even me, I tend to miss shots all the time, so that quick follow-up on a target that isn't able to move or dodge bullets like they're Neo from the Matrix is pretty critical, and that's just not something that you can do very easily in the current game. And don't get me wrong, there is still the stealth ghillie sniper playstyle in DayZ Standalone. You just don't see it as much as you did in the mod, and that strategy can be countered really easily with a single person who is serpentining running full speed with an AR, SMG, or shotgun. If you give up that location as a covert ghillie sniper, it is very difficult to hide in daylight. It pretty much needs to be nighttime for you to utilize the ghillie suit at its maximum effectiveness. And if you don't do that and you allow a player to get close, then you introduce the current meta system, which is basically people running around, gun raised, shooting at the hip using the reticle. And for those that may not know, when I mention the term meta, I am describing the average way people are PvPing right now. It doesn't include the very niche play styles of that scout sniper, of that ghillie suit night player, of somebody who's actually stalking and playing slow, because those playstyles are usually easily countered by 21 km/h hipfire players. And so if you are going to be playing as a sniper or somebody that is taking their time through a military base, just know that you are most likely going to get rushed up on by somebody who knows your position and immediately kill you very swiftly. It just tends to happen. Not all the time. Again, DayZ's a very hard game to set PvP meta to, but anybody that has any level of experience in the current DayZ PvP system knows what I'm talking about. And anybody that still does a lot of DayZ PvP, I know there's not a whole lot of us out there, but you know that no matter what you do, your basic strategy usually dissolves into the hipfire system. You may start off as a ghillie sniper and allow a player to get close, and there you can whip out either your secondary or just try to hip fire them with a bolt action or a blaze. But it usually tends to get to the point where you end up dying enough where you say, okay, we got to give this a shot. And I have made videos specifically on the hip firing system showing you how to actually make it happen, because it's one thing to just say, hey, I'm not going to take part in the PvP at all. I'm not going to give into that strategy because I just don't believe that's just the way the game is played. And then you decide to go against the meta and you stay in a stationary position, aiming down sights, trying to line up iron sight shots on a target that is serpentining and changing directions, running directly towards you at 21 kilometers per hour, and then hip firing you with a single shot because you were unable to land your shots on a target that was moving extremely fast. That is going to get you killed. And for people that are unwilling to adapt, you're going to continue to die that way until beta.
Bad idea! Bad idea! Why did I do that? Why did I do that, man? No!
Now, over the last few days, I have been purposely trying to not hip fire as much unless it's a dire situation, slow down my foot speed, and actually go slow, trying to mimic my footsteps like zombies. And I can tell you that it doesn't work the best in DayZ standalone. It doesn't feel as good as it should. However, I was able to get into a few situations which rewarded me with a really great stock kill, and one that you've seen in the Hostile Encounters 8 video, where I was able to successfully slowly move into a military camp and then spot and take out another player before they even knew that I was there. That is great. Whenever it works, it feels like that is the way it should be, but sadly, it isn't always like that. Why this strategy usually doesn't work is if this player had an Overwatch, I would be moving so slow that I would just be able to get one-tapped by an easy snipe. If I get spotted by another player from a separate angle, they can rush up to me with a shotgun or AR and shoot me in the back faster than I can even blink. Because I am not mobile, I am exposing myself to being shot extremely easily, and that is just the current problem with DayZ. You're in a situation where you have the tools to be extremely mobile with unlimited stamina, and if you don't choose to play there, you will be playing at a disadvantage. And you obviously can't predict everything, but I can tell you that if I was to choose to play one day completely stealth, the next day completely crazy fast YOLO style hipfire shotgun, I can tell you with almost certainty that the hipfire shotgun strategy would net me more successful kills in PvP. So I think at this point, even if you're not a DayZ PvP player listening to this video, I've outlined the current meta pretty nicely. It's a lot of mobile attacks and hipfire speed, and I don't need to beat it over the head anymore. Now, what is going to be happening in the beta is almost going to directly counter this meta strategy completely, and I feel that the PvP is going to return to a slow, methodical, stealthy playstyle like it once was. The developers are going to literally force us to play that way. So, obviously, we have the stamina system. We're not going to be able to run forever. There's going to be the initial steps for the inertia system, so you're not going to be able to serpentine as easily as you could before. You're not going to be able to access your inventory while running, meaning that strip clips that have been preloaded and magazines that have been preloaded selected to your hotbar will become the primary method of loading ammunition into your weapons. You're also not going to be able to run with your weapon raised. So in standalone, there is currently two methods of running. One with your gun lowered, which gives you the maximum speed, and then one with your gun raised, which a lot of people do, especially with the hipfire strategy, which gives you a slower running speed, but it's still extremely quick, while offering you quick access to that hipfire reticle. And that's how so many people, including myself, get really fast, easy kills using that current meta. You're not going to be able to do that anymore once beta hits. So that means that they're going to be reverting it to the same system that was in the DayZ mod. Whenever you were running full sprint, obviously your gun wasn't raised at the ready, able to see the reticle and basically start hip firing. Your gun was lowered or in a separate position, and then once your player stopped the full sprint, you were able to actually raise your weapon at a run speed, not at a jog speed or a full sprint. So that's basically going to be a very similar system to what all the veteran players have experienced in the past. And when you really think about it, the stamina system is pretty much very similar to the Arma 2 stamina system. The only thing that's different is we didn't actually visibly see a stamina bar when playing the DayZ mod, but any veteran who's actually played that game will know that you were unable to sprint at the fastest pace forever. Eventually the game did slow you down, forcing you to rest. So it's not a new thing. It really does seem like the developers are moving back to more of a DayZ mod style of combat and weapon raising and lower system. Now, kind of moving back again to not being able to access your inventory while on the run, you're also not going to be able to simply drag a full stack of ammo into a 60 round mag. So all you guys that like rocking the M4 with the coupled mags, you're actually going to have to sit down and load every single round one by one into your coupled magazine. So you're not going to be able to do that on the run, and you're going to have to do the animation while throwing the magazine into your hand, something that you're not going to be able to easily do or complete at all during combat unless you have backup from teammates. And I know I'm probably missing some things here, so if I am, please let me know in the comment section below any other features coming in DayZ 0.63 that you think are going to be changing the current PvP meta. Now, before I leave today, I want to talk about one more thing that's going to be coming in, probably one of the biggest and scariest changes that we've seen from the Gamescom 2017 footage. And I just want to say that this video clip right here that you guys are going to be seeing is courtesy of Minder. Check out Minder's channel, youtube.com/Minder, and also twitch.tv/Minder. He allowed me to use this footage in this video for my point. Now, the last and arguably scariest change coming in DayZ 0.63 for me is the changing of the aim down sight system. So now this is very experimental, and Minder has actually already told me that he told the developers directly that he thinks this is a bad idea, and I agree with him. And the change is when you hold right click, you now raise your weapon in basically the hip fire position, and you can see the reticle. And while you're holding down the right mouse button, you press the middle mouse wheel to access your optic. So no more spacebar to raise and lower your gun. You have to actually press two buttons at the same time on your mouse, and especially that slippery scroll wheel to access your optic. Now, if you guys have played MMOs before or have actually played video games that require you to press down on your mouse wheel to actually access anything, you know that it is a pain in the ass, and it is not an easy and simple thing to do. People are going to be butterfingering that thing all the time. They're going to be missing it, and that's going to be affecting combat significantly. And of course, you can rebind it, but a two-button system like that just doesn't make any sense. I actually think that DayZ Standalone has a really good system with the spacebar raise and lower weapon. It feels smooth, it feels nice. I know that I can just right click to ADS and have access to my optics. I don't think the developers need to reinvent the wheel here, so I would highly recommend that that change doesn't get implemented and we just keep the current system with the changes to the holding up your weapon during run speed. And I think that would just basically give us an experience very similar to the mod, and I think a lot of people would enjoy that. So now you guys can probably understand that DayZ PvP will be drastically changing in the future when beta hits in a couple months. And I'm excited for it. I want to get in there, take a look at all the changes, and discover new strategies and play styles that will become more effective than the current DayZ 0.62 PvP meta. And I also wanted to mention that you guys can watch the full 27 gameplay video that Minder has on his channel. A link to that will be included in the description box below if you guys want to see some more DayZ 0.63 action and gameplay, just to see how it feels and looks so far in the demo at Gamescom 2017. Hope you guys found this video useful and entertaining. If you did, let me know what you think in the comment section below, and be sure to subscribe on the channel. I upload lots of DayZ content, Escape from Tarkov, and PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds.